All right, latest updates here on the stablecoin, the BSV, Bitcoin Association's Teranode implementation, and some meetings that I've had, things I'll share and do my best to share what I can here on this video here on some other further progresses. So if you've been reading on X lately, it looks like Dr. Wright's back on a rampage, and there's a potential debate challenge with a guy from BTC, which I'm completely open to hosting a debate if the parties are amicable to do it. And it's a technical debate potentially that I don't quite understand, but so I'm not going to comment on it. But ultimately, it's a technical debate about the BTC versus Bitcoin, BSV, and how basically some of these challenges that the BTC faces, and they have a difference of opinion. So I'm open to hosting the debate challenge if that's something that the parties are willing to do amicably. The guy looks like he's pretty reasonable, and I don't know if he's part of BTC Core, because that was one of the things is that he needs to be actually a member of Core for Dr. Wright to want to debate him. So if he's just a random guy, then I don't think it's going to work. But if he's actually a part of Core, definitely, I think it would be. Dr. Wright said that he would be willing to debate you. If you are. All right, so I don't even know the guy's name, but anyways, he's a guy in the U.S. So, all right, so that's out there. But that's really helpful, right? So anyways, the other thing is I had a meeting yesterday. This is yesterday was the 22nd. So regarding I'm not allowed to say the guy's name, but it was a high-level meeting with someone who's extremely influential in behind the scenes. People don't know him. In fact, I didn't even know him. So I never even really heard of him. I've heard rumors that he existed, but I didn't know who he was. And I never met him before. So, but he had a meeting with me and some other people, including Daniel Street, Jack Pitts were on the meeting as well. But, he's a really influential guy, a very important guy behind the scenes. All right. So let's put it that way. And, there is, all right, let me just share I'll talk about the meeting, but just my perspective here. I just cannot get excited. I'm excited about peer-to-peer cash. I'm excited about getting rid of a middleman. That's what excites me, because I think that delivers more freedom. I want more freedom. More independence. That's what I want. I want the ability to transact with someone else directly, peer-to-peer. That gives me more freedom. So adding another layer, adding another party, I don't care what you call it, whether it's Lightning Network or Square or Visa or intermediary or layer 2, whatever. Anything that's not peer-to-peer, it's just not exciting. We already got that for me. Yeah, people can get rich. You can get rich, dude. I'm sure there's ways to get super rich off of it. For me, it's just not exciting enough for me to care about getting rich off of what we already have. I could just keep doing fiat, right? And doing the boomer world, which I'm already doing, right? I'm already in the boomer fiat world. I'll just keep doing that. I'm not interested in another layer, another non-peer-to-peer. And that's what everything but the original Bitcoin does. Now, I know that I'm going to be talking with Josh Reed. I think it looks like on Friday we're going to do a meeting. And, he's really into crypto. And a lot of people have given up on the idea of peer-to-peer cash. It's just not possible. So, while it's good to, you make some money on crypto and trading and long-term play. You could. I'm not saying you can. And I mean, I'm somewhat involved in a little bit on speculation on some of those things, but not much. Ultimately, I'm just more excited about peer-to-peer cash. That's really what just motivates me, man, because peer-to-peer, like money for the world is just absolutely pure freedom. So on that note, like the Teranode project is coming out, and I know that there's a lot of people who've been in the game for so long, and they're just like losing hope. They don't think it's going to happen, whatever. I honestly, I guess I'm kind of new in a way, but I'm confident it's going to happen. From the guy that I talked to yesterday, it's coming. but it's not going to come out with errors and omissions and problems. It's going to launch full stop, working on a dime. A lot of transactions are happening on the network right now that I've been seeing. Things are going up, and we're getting closer. So, I think there was some miscommunication, not miscommunication, but there's a guy called LightBSV. He's on X, and I did confirm with this person who's need to know that guy is actually part of the Teranode project. And I haven't met him, but he has, so it's hearsay. Believe it as you wish, but that he actually is part of the Teranode project, and what he's saying is true. And he may have been a little bit premature in saying that the project's going to be ready by first or Q1. Here we are in Q2. It's April and it's not out yet. Okay, so but that was really from him. It wasn't really official, I think is what I'm hearing. So the announcement wasn't an official announcement. It was from somebody involved in the project that believed it would be ready by then. And it's close, but it's not ready. Now, I've talked directly to the guy in charge of the association. That's Os. Now, Os is in charge of the project. That's Siggy's brother. He's the MD, managing director. And he's told me, in my meetings with him that, they're doing their best. There's no guarantee on the date, but it is coming. It's close. Him and Siggy and the guys are working extremely hard to get it out. Either way, let's just say it doesn't happen until the end of the year. So be it. All right. It's coming. It is coming. And when it does come, it's going to open up this giant freeway of pipes and lanes for peer-to-peer cash for massive adoption. Now that freeway, it's like a super lane highway, like in the early 1900s or maybe the 1950s, they build these giant freeways. Let's say Highway 80 going across the interstate. I don't know when Highway 80 was built, but you got this Highway 80 that goes from way out in San Francisco all the way up to like the Northeast. And it's this, I don't know how big it is across in the Midwest, but in parts out here in the Bay Area, it's huge. You got massive amount of lanes that's going across. So they got this highway that's wide and deep, and it's going across the nation, right? So it's kind of like that, but on a much bigger scale. Wide lane highways, There's some super highways down in LA, like Los Angeles, Southern California, like this, like giant highways that are still not even big enough now. But when they first built them, they were way too big. Nobody drove on them. It's kind of like that with this Teranode. There's not going to be nearly enough people using it to start with. And people are going to make fun of it. And they're going to say, it's a waste of money. It's nonsense. It's not going to happen. Goes nowhere. Why would you need this? Well, they said the same thing about freeways. They said the same thing about train tracks, and these massive operations as they're coming. We were never going to use that stuff. But as time went on, society grew out of all those things. It completely grew out of the freeways. We don't have enough lanes on these freeways now. Out here anyways in California, we need more, way more. So this is the same idea, but having this layer one scaling on Bitcoin peer-to-peer with this giant super lane freeway with the Teranode adoption is what is coming. Now, a couple of other things that we talked about was the Money Stablecoin project. Now I've been vocal about saying, hey, Money Stablecoin really needs to get the peer-to-peer one-click onboarding, and that's with the company called Coinflow, right? And they're doing it on Solana right now with USDC. So, after yesterday's meeting, I want to encourage. I mean, I still encourage. I would love to see it. Okay. But I'm not on the inside of that. I don't see how it's going to work with the compliance side, because the one problem that was brought to my attention is potentially it's no KYC, right? We know that, right? It's not a KYC option. So it's doing it without KYC. Now, Money is a new stable coin, and they want to build obviously everything completely compliant. They don't want to be going outside of regulation. What's happening is the Coinflow is making it labeled as a transaction that's not a cryptocurrency transaction to the bank. So they're labeling as something that it's not a crypto transaction. So that's ultimately the big issue. Is that regulatory compliant with the stablecoin money? I wish I was in the inner workings to help make that decision, but I'm not qualified. I'm not a freaking attorney, so I can read the law, interpret the law, I can, do a lot of research and analysis, but if those guys have to hire somebody who's competently, obviously they already have, who's a competent legal expert on compliance and KYC laws. And that expert has to give them a qualified decision and then ensure that decision. If they were to say, yep, this is legal, it's compliant, it's regulatory friendly, to be able to classify the transaction as a non-crypto transaction, boom, then I would imagine it's a go. But until that happens, it looks like it's not going to go forward. There's just no possible way that the money stablecoin would ever have the one-click onboarding with no KYC, unless there was new regulation. Now, the other thing is there's these new bills in Congress right now about stablecoins, which are going to be freaking likely passing by next year. So we still got time, and they'll probably pass at that point. But once they do, it'll be like wide open adoption, potentially no KYCs, no AML and stuff like that. That has to be litigated has to be determined by Congress. So until that point, it's not likely going to happen, I would imagine, because I know that money stablecoin, they've got a duty to be completely compliant. And there's just no reason for them to risk, being shut down and sued and, fined and all these things just to get a little bit of more onboarding done. So I completely understand that position. If that's what they're saying, they haven't come out and said this. To me, one way or the other, I'm speculating right now. So don't take it as gospel, but I just want to show some empathy to them I understand their potential legal concerns that they may have with regulation. But at the same time, in my opinion, which is just a novice, I think that it is compliant. I think that classifying it this way is going to be fine, but we'll see. What does my opinion matter on that? I'm just a voice on YouTube, man. But ultimately that being said, again, for me, it's a long-term play. I wish I was had the knowledge and the time. I don't really wish, it's boring to me, but maybe a lot of guys out there, I know my buddy Matt, and others, they know how to trade crypto and they want to spend time trading crypto, dude. I think there's a way to make a lot of money. You're doing that. You probably will. And you're probably going to make money on altcoins if you know how to do all that stuff. But ultimately, I don't like the risk, and I want to be in this for what I'm excited about. I'm excited about peer-to-peer cash, man. I'm just really excited about, freedom. More freedom is what makes me passionate. And we only have more freedom by enabling peer-to-peer transactions. Okay? That's the solution. We have to have peer-to-peer. And these other proof of stake, networks, that's not transparent. Proof of stake, that's just, it doesn't offer the full transparency of a proof of work SHA-256 network, all on chain, auditable. These proof of stakes are, I think we've understood. Brett Banify does a really good job. You can watch my interview with him. He does a better job analyzing the technical versions, but that's what excites me, and that's what I'm committed to. So if you want to say, for all you cult members, you know what? Dude, the Satoshi cult, if that's what it is, so be it. Then it's a cult. And if that's what people want to call it, great. Then I'm going to say I'm in a cult, and that's fine. Because ultimately the peer-to-peer cash for the world creates more freedom. You want to call that a cult? Then I'm in the freedom cult, the Satoshi cult, whatever you want to call it. I really don't care. That's all I got. A lot more to come. Hit the ones. Should have a good show with Josh coming up on Friday. Waiting for the confirmation on that. Josh Reed, really excited about that. All right. See you at the top. This is Gavin.